Welcome, guys. I'm having a bash at the Arena Open today. This is day one, and this is the best of one option. So this is get to 7 wins to qualify for day two, and you're knocked out if you have 3 losses. And actually, it does say match losses, but actually, this is definitely best of one. This one, because the best of three option, you need to get 4 wins, and you get knocked out with 1 match loss. Which is which sounds less appealing, really, doesn't it? If, you can have a couple of losses to keep going with this one. But yeah, I think I might even you can enter this multiple times, right? You can only have one day two um, token that actually works. But I might, well, depending how this goes, I might have a couple of goes at this. So anyway, we'll start this off. I might try the best of three version because I quite like best of three, even if it's getting knocked out potentially quite early. That's fine by me. Let's see if we've got any. I think I might switch the audio off. Honestly, yes, I have. About 4%'s about right, I think. Okie doke. We're going to look at our rares here. So we've got 11 rares. What jumps out to me first? We've got Vraska joins up and Abrupt Decay, so they're both in green and black. So Vraska joins up, you get a death touch counter on each creature you control. Whenever a legendary creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. We're gonna keep an eye out for any legendary creatures. So that's quite specific. It actually might not be very useful. So, an Abrupt Decay is just a good removal spell, isn't it? 2 mana, instant, destroy target non-land permanent with mana value 3 or less. So quite a good removal spell, let's say. But also, you see, we've got a black-white card here. We have a black-white-blue card. Maybe we might go into those colours as well. Let's have a look at Kambal, Profiteering Mare. 2/4 legendary creature. You see. So it could even go, if we want to make a legendaries deck. That might go with Vraska, you see. That would be white, black, green. Right, so Kambal, whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your opponent's control. Okay, that's weird. For each of them, create a tap token that's a copy of it. So you get to copy your opponent's tokens. So it depends. I guess this is a fairly token-rich environment that might give you some value. And it's a 2/4 creature for 3 mana, which is quite okay. Quite a defensive creature. Only the ability only triggers once each turn. Whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. All right, so it works with your own tokens. It does something useful. It's direct damage. It's life gain. That does seem pretty reasonable. That's quite good. We'll see if we would want to maybe add blue as a third color. I've got Ariet the Beguiler as a reason to do that. Another legendary creature. I don't know if we want to go 4 colors. That might be a bit of a stretch. But Ariet the Beguiler is a 4/4 lifelink for 4 mana. That's pretty good. Whenever an aura you control, well, we need auras. That's not guaranteed. Whenever an aura you control becomes attached to a non-land permanent, an opponent controls with mana value less than or equal to that aura's mana value, gain control of that permanent for as long as that aura is attached to it. Okay. And what happens when Ariet dies? Does it also bounce back because this permanent effect is no longer in play? We'll find out, but I think maybe you still retain control. So that's very interesting. Basically turns all of your auras into kind of a conditional control magic, which is could be fantastically powerful. And it's a 4/4 lifelink for 4 mana with 3 different colours. Pretty interesting. Maybe we kind of file it under. It's like Vraska's joins up. It's very the power of this card is very conditional. It's not that easy to meet that condition and get extra value out of this card. And maybe a 4/4 lifelink isn't really worth it for 3 different colours on its own. We'll have to see if we get some amazing auras. Let's have a look. Since we're looking at I seem to have started looking at all the multicolored cards. We have a green and white card, if we remember. That's a legendary creature. That would go well with the green, white, black deck with Vraska and legendary creature synergy, which, drawing extra cards when we do combat damage. So Selvala, Eager Trailblazer, 4 mana, Vigilance, 4/5. That's a solid rate, I would say. 4/5. You get a 4/5 with Vigilance. Very chunky. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 1/1 red mercenary creature token. So you make a token. Remember, we like making tokens if we have Kambal in play, because we get to do 1 point drain life. So that's cool. It makes tokens as well. You can tap it, choose a color, add 1 mana of that color for each different power among creatures you control. So if you already have, let's say, a mercenary and Selvala, it's 2 mana. It could be. So often you're going to tap for 3 mana. It's got vigilance, so you can get an attack phase in and still tap it for mana after attacks. That does seem pretty good. That is a pretty good reason to go maybe green white, black. Okay, we'll look at the other things. The other thing, of course, you notice I have 4 red rares. I'll go to the one I'm familiar with because I've played Stingerback Terror before. 4 mana, Flying Trample, 7/7, but it gets -1/-1 for each card in your hand. If you can play a very aggressive low to the ground deck that empties its hand, this is incredible, an incredible rate. But you'll usually have about 3 cards left in your hand when you get it out, 3 or 4, so it's maybe a 3/3 flyer, 4/4 flyer. And if you're up against a color like red or green, where the toughness is going to be very important for keeping your creature alive. You want to maybe hold it in your hand, play it later when you've managed to empty most of your hand, so it's not going to die to a lightning strike or whatever the equivalent red burn spell is, or a fight spell if it's green. So really good card. We have Electrodominance. I'm somewhat familiar with. It's an X spell. Deals X damage to any target. So it's double red X. You may cast a spell with mana value X or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. So, yeah, it's an X spell that can go face, which is absolutely fantastic, I would say. Very, very good reason to play red. So 2 very good reasons to play red so far. Hell to Pay. Another X spell, red and X. Hell to Play deals X damage to target creature. Create a number of tapped treasure tokens equal to the amount of excess damage dealt to that creature this way. Okay, a nice removal spell. It's sorcery speed, but it's also potentially making a bunch of treasure tokens, tapped treasure tokens. It is sorcery. Unfortunately, you can't do this end of your opponent's turn to make a bunch of treasure. So you it's tempting you to sort of tap out to make as much treasure as possible. So maybe you have a kind of a weak turn where you're vulnerable when you tap out to play this. But yeah, cool removal card, ramp card, pretty awesome. Of course, it can set up your Electrodominance the following turn with a bunch of extra treasure tokens to fuel it. And we have Hellspur Posse Boss. Actually, I've had this guy before, so The thing to remember about this guy, so he's a 4 mana 2/4 who makes 2/1/1 mercenaries when he comes into play. It says the key thing is other outlaws you control have haste. Unfortunately, he does not give himself haste, but you will. Your 2 mercenaries will have haste, so they can get in. Good card, I would say. Um, yeah, especially if you've got lots of outlaws. Of course, Scorpion Dragon here is not an outlaw. About half the creatures are outlaws and half aren't. If we've got the list here, assassins, mercenaries, pirates, rogues, and warlocks are outlaws. Presumably, if something was called an outlaw, that would count as an outlaw as well, obviously. So that's the 4 red rares. That is definitely another way to go. I'll look at this artifact. This can go in most decks. Somebody used this against me. This did seem pretty scary and good. So it's 1 mana, and it's equipped for 1 mana as well. So that's a nice cheap piece of equipment to equip. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage, so not just to the opponent but to another creature, you put a charge counter on it. And you just need to remove 1 charge counter, and you can choose one of these. Untap land, target land. If you untap one of your opponent's lands, I believe that would count as a crime. I'm just thinking, I don't think we got any crime cards here, but I think that could be a way of doing a crime. Target creature can't block this turn. Pretty good. And put a +1/+1 counter on equipped creature, that's probably going to be the key one for getting a permanent advantage on the board. So that does seem very good. I'm probably playing this whatever happens. The last card here is the blue card. I mean, we might be going a black, blue, white. So that's definitely a possibility. Worldwalker Helm. It's a mythic, I notice. If you would create 1 or more artifact tokens, instead create those tokens plus an additional map token. Okay. I don't think we saw many ways of making artifact tokens because we were making mercenary tokens, right? I tell you what, Hell to Pay makes tap treasure tokens, so that would work with Worldwalker Helm. I think I'm trying to think if there was anything else. This is something that works with tokens that come into play on my side of the board. I get to do a 1 point drain life, and I can copy my opponent's tokens, which is pretty cool. We didn't see any auras, did we? Anyway, the other ability on here, 2 mana and tap, create a token that's a copy of target artifact token you control, so it can copy, treasure tokens, clue tokens. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Just sort of of like a value artifact, like a tome or something, but also kind of conditional. If you don't have any artifact tokens, yeah, it's not very good. So we might not be playing that. I think it's quite unlikely. I think we want to we'll eliminate a few things from our inquiries. So we'll look at our rares again. And I'm just thinking about Ariat the Beguiler. So this, I'd say, first of all, not worth playing 3 colors just for a 4/4 lifelink for 4. Honestly. As good as that is. What we're going to do is search for is aura. If we have a bunch of really good auras, suddenly it gets more playable. I can see, yeah, auras on is mentioned on area. We have reach for the sky. We can target an opponent's creature. That would it doesn't go with Ariat's colors. It would be a 4-color deck with this one, but that would be quite good. We could stop cold, which unfortunately is a removal spell that will tap the permanent, and it will lose all abilities, and they don't untap. So we'll get to control it with Ariat, but it's not going to be very useful. So we did not get any good really we did not get any good auras to use with Ariat. So I think we'll forget about the Ariat deck, and also the blue artifact. We'll forget about that. I'll just, in fact, let's look at blue. Let's see what. Let's just make sure blue doesn't have anything amazing. But I'm going to start adding cards. Um, so my rule is I use the bread system, so bombs, removal, evasion, aggro, and dross. So I'm interested in the first three. I look for bombs, removal, and evasion. So the definition of a bomb is quite movable, uh, subjective. Things I think one category is things that give you persistent card advantage. So that thing that can give you an extra card every turn is definitely a bomb. And often things that the things that come into play and can remove another permanent, but also be a threat on the board. Something can give you a 2-for-1 on the board. I find is usually pretty bomb like. But this, so Harry Strix, we'll start with. This is an evasion creature. You can also do a bit of draw and discard. Yeah, I think that's good. That's just under the evasion category. Jailbreak scheme is removal. You can put a creature on top of their library, so yeah, that counts. Phantom interference. It makes a flying creature. I mean, it would cost you 4 mana. It's also a counter spell, so potentially removal. Yeah, potentially removal, and you get a creature. So yeah, I think that's good. Take the 4. Um, Probably fine, but I call this a combat trick. So you kind of need for this to be good. You need a blocking situation to arise, which is not a reliable situation. A lot of the times the games are decided by evasion creatures, right? So even though this draws a card, which is really nice, I would say this is a filler card rather than something I would consider. So this is the argument for playing blue over here. So this is not really a good argument for playing blue. So emergent haunting is going to be a 3/3 flyer. So we like that. We like flying creatures. You just need to not cast a spell from your hand, which if you're playing blue, you might be doing well, and it gives you a bit of extra value. 3 mana you can surveil for 1, so quite good. Deep Muck Desperado. Oh, this is a mill card. So this is an alternate victory condition, and mill is a really good victory condition in draft. If I had 2 or 3 of these, then yeah, that might be really good. Otherwise, it's a 3 mana 2/4. And it's also it's got to be a crime to actually trigger that. Anyway, so I think no on that card, but we might come back to it if we find lots of mill cards. Seize the Secrets is draw 2, sorcery speed. I would say, yeah, whilst it's card advantage, it's not sort of advantage on the board. It's you might not have time to cast this spell potentially, so we ignore that. That's kind of a filler card. Worldwalker Helm. I think we've decided. Yeah, the power of this card is too conditional on other cards you have in your deck, so we have to just ignore it for now and consider it later. Right, Daring Thunder Thief, 4 mana, 4/4 with flash, but it enters tapped, so you can't block something. So it's not like a removal spell, unfortunately. It doesn't have evasion, so we skip that one. Outlaw Stitcher. 1/4 makes a 2/2 zombie rogue creature token and put 2+1/+1 counters on that token for each spell you've cast this turn other than the first. So this can make a really big creature. You can also plot this. So that says to me that's pretty good value. Just so I'm going to include that. That's like an extra category, is sort of things that, one card that makes two creatures is pretty good value. So I'm going to add that one. Stockcold is our removal spell. We want that. Rope Master. Right, this can bounce a tapped creature to its owner's hand. So that is removal. I think that's good. So I'm going to take that. We've got a land here. I'll just add that. Tyrant Scorn is a removal spell. Blue-black removal. Yeah, destroy a mana value 3 or less creature or bounce something. So that's a good removal spell. We've got Lazav, Familiar Stranger. Whenever you commit a crime, he gets a +1/+1 counter. Then you can exile a card from a graveyard. If it's a creature card, you may have Lazav become a copy of that card until end of turn. This ability triggers only once per turn. But yeah, he's a 1/4 for 3 mana, so that's quite a good sort of defensive card anyway. And yeah, you just need to commit crimes and he grows. And with an added bonus if you can find some good creatures in the graveyard. So good card. An area, the Beguiler. 4/4 lifelink for 4 is pretty good, even if we don't have auras. I kind of said we've kind of eliminated this card, but I'm going to add it for now. From looking at the rares, we thought we might be playing mono red. But I think I'll start with the less likely colors first. Actually, before I forget, I'll look at the colorless cards because sometimes I forget to look at these. So, Arid Archway is an interesting ramp land. You have to bounce a land when you play it, but it adds 2 mana. So you're getting it enters tapped as well. So, but you're getting 2 extra mana. So it's like you're adding an extra land, and you can bounce a desert and get a bit of value. You can surveil for 1, and then you can replay the desert and maybe ping someone again, do another crime. So it's kind of quite a good utility land, but it's also adding a land that that's tapped and does not have coloured mana, which might be, if you're going 3 colours, that might be a problem. I'm going to add it anyway, but it's good for maybe a ramp deck. Conduit Pylons, yeah, they're quite. It's a mana fixing thing. It's got the mana fixing tax, so it's 1 extra mana. You've got to tap this, so you're tapping 2 lands to make 1 mana of any color. But I think that's fine. The Jite seems very good, so I think we'll play that whatever happens. Silver Deputy is very good because you can put a land of your choice on top of your deck, so it's good for making your land drops, getting the right color. Is it mana fixing? Cheap colorless mana fixing is always very good in a draft, I think. Bandit's Hall, 3 mana. Whenever you commit a crime, put a loot counter on Bandit's Hall. This ability triggers only once each turn. You can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. So it's a 3 mana rock. And you can tap it with 2 mana. Remove 2 loot counters from Bandit's Hall to draw a card. So it's also, it's a mana rock that can draw you cards if you commit crimes. That seems really good. That's definitely into consideration. I'm going to go through color by color. Let's look at white. We've got Getaway Glamour, which, let's see, exile target non-token creature. And then it comes back into play at the beginning of the next end step. So you can trigger your own come into play effect, or you can remove an enemy creature from combat. There's also, for 2 extra mana, destroy target creature if no other creature has greater power. Right, so you can kill the creature with the most power on the battlefield. Uh, you can exile your creature with the most power to make that a bit easier, but it's going to cost you potentially 4 mana. So that's a removal spell. We want that one. Steer Clear is a removal spell. 2 damage to target attacking the blood creature. It's 4 damage if you controlled a mount. We might figure out how many mounts we have in the selection. That will affect how good Steer Clear is. So we've got the Trained Arynx. It's a cat beast mount. Guess we'll add that. Bounding Felidar is a cat beast mount. Oh yeah, that's the expensive one, but it can put +1/+1 counters on each other creature you control. I think that's a really good creature. And then we've got these mounts, red and green mounts. We'll get to those later. Fierce Retribution is another good removal spell. Outlaw Medic, 1/3 lifelink. When it dies, draw a card. I'd call this a filler card, definitely. Possibly Trained Arynx. Actually, I'll take that away. I think that's a filler card. It's sort of aggro. I don't want to put it into consideration just yet. If white is one of our main colors, yeah, that's definitely going to make it in. Prairie Dog, 2/2 lifelink, and it grows. Yeah, that's pretty good. Maybe that. Yeah, anything that a growing threat is always a pretty good thing to have. The Inventive Wingsmith can gain flying. I think that's a good enough reason to include that one. Thunder Lasso helps you tap down sort of defending creatures. Crit creature gets +1/+1. I'd say no to that thing unless you're a very aggressive deck where you're always going to be on the front foot and you just need more evasion. You can tap down more creatures. Uh, yeah, yeah, because you can't defend with this card, so it's not really a good removal card. Vengeful Townsfolk grows when creatures die, so that's another growing threat kind of thing. And it's pretty nice. It's 3/3 for 3 mana to start with. I'd say yes, that's good. That is a just a good value card. I will look at let's look at how we're doing so far. We've included 10 blue, 8 white. And we've got some filler things if we do want to play white. Right, black cards here. So Skullduggery. Oh, this is kind of a nice little combat trick. It needs a blocking interaction to get the most out of it. Then you're probably killing something. And you can always kill a 1 toughness creature with this. I might call this a filler card though. So I don't think this is a reason to play black, honestly. Unfortunate accident. Destroy target creature. So 4 mana, instant speed. Yeah, so obviously that's fantastic. 1 extra mana gets you a mercenary. So very good card. Desert's Dew is -2/-2. So you know that one I would say we do include. If you're doing 2 damage or removing 2 toughness, then that's the definition of a removal spell. It's just -1/-1. It's not really doing very much. So that's a good removal spell. The Buzzard is a flyer. Um, Sometimes it's a 3/2 flyer, which is pretty good. I'd say good enough. Consuming Ashes, good removal spell. Rooftop Assassin has flying. Lifelink and Flash, and it can destroy something that was dealt damage this turn, which, in my experience, does not fire off very often. 2/2 flyers for 4 mana. It's a bit expensive, but I think it's playable. The Ambush Gigapede gives something -2 toughness, so that probably will kill something. It's quite expensive. It's 6 mana, but I think that's good enough to play. We'll take the land there. Obviously, you've got the Profiteering Mare. We like Ruthless Lawbringer. You can sacrifice a creature to destroy target online permanent. That's great. So that's a really good reason to play white-black. Yeah, Abrupt Decay. Vraska joins up. I'm just going to include those. We look at red. So this is the tricky part because we've got some really good red rares, which is going to make the decision on what we play quite tricky. We're going to have two pretty good options. And I'm seeing red removal spells here. So we've got Explosive Derailment, 4 damage to a creature. So that's really good. Caught in the Crossfire. Oh. So this can deal 2 damage to each outlaw creature or 2 damage to each non-outlaw creature. It's like a pyroclasm, a sort of selective pyroclasm. That might be good, but it's very conditional on whether I'm playing outlaws. If I'm playing a mix of outlaws and non-outlaws, or lots of creatures with 2 toughness or less, this becomes less good. But I think that's flexible enough that that's going to be good. Probably going to use it to kill all my opponent's flyers. You can imagine that could be fantastic. Right, now we get into some of the interesting sort of 2 mana cards. We've got Discerning Peddler. This does discard and draw. Highway Robbery basically does discard and draw 2. Kind of similar cards. I'd call these filler cards. If I choose to play red, these are probably going in to some extent. Especially with red as a main color, and if you're playing like 2 or 3 colors, that could be really good for mana, hitting your land drops and things like that. And late game, obviously discarding excess land, but we don't include that just yet. Ferocification is an enchantment. Okay, you can give +2 power to something. Oh, or it can give something menace and haste till end of turn. I do like that. That does sound quite good. It's one of these problem cards, sort of these utility cards that's not removal and it's not a creature. So if you're investing in this, you might not have enough creatures. It's kind of useless without creatures. But it provides menace. It provides access to evasion. It provides access to +2 power, so sort of trading up potentially with maybe a token creature. So you send in a 3/1 mercenary. I quite like it, but I think we leave it out for the moment because we may not have enough creatures if we start including things like this. We need a good creature base, first of all. The Gila Courser is a lizard mount, 4/2. Exiles the top card of your library until the end of your next turn when you play that card. So that gives you card advantage, potentially. I think that's very good. You take that one. Irascible Wolverine also gives you card advantage. We like that. Prickly Pear gives you, creature advantage. It gives you a token creature. That's maybe more of a filler card. We'll come back to that. Skewer the Critics, 3 damage to anything, fantastic. Removal. Hellspur Posse Boss is fantastic, so we take that one. Quilled Charger can become a 5/5 when it is saddled and it gains menace. So that's significant. That can become a big evasion creature. So I think that's quite good. The Radio Pyromancers give you extra mana after you've cast your first spell each turn. So it's good for casting 2 spells a turn and trying to empty your hand, which is going to be good with Stingerback Terror. So we obviously, we want the Stingerback Terror. I think we want Radio Pyromancers, and we want Hell to Pay and Electrodominance. X spells. We have Jolene, Plundering Pugilist. I haven't played her yet, but she makes treasure tokens if you attack with a powerful creature. You can sacrifice a treasure to do 1 damage to any target. That does seem very good as well. Being able to do 1 damage to anything repeatedly. Yes, that seems good. We have 2 copies of Ertha Joe, who makes a mercenary, and she doubles the effectiveness of abilities. Ooh. Talking of abilities, we've just added Jolene, so that Jolene's ability would be doubled with Ertha Joe, so you'd suddenly be doing 2 damage for every sacrificed treasure. Yes, that does sound good. That is a rather good combination. So yeah, we'll add Ertha Joe. Then there's Former Posse, which is an X spell that makes X mercenaries. Not instant speed, but it's sorcery speed. Definitely had mixed results with these kinds of spells. I would note it goes fantastically well with Hellspur Posse Boss, because all of these mercenaries will have haste. That's it's probably not the kind of card that you want to it's not a good reason to play red-white, but I'm just very tempted by the possibilities of that card. It's another X spell, so we've got quite a few red-based X spells. It's quite interesting. And we've got some filler in red as well. So red looks pretty strong. A lot of removal. In fact, we've just included 15 cards, so it's our sort of strongest color so far as well. We just have green to look at. So let's look at green before we do any trimming. Okay, we like Ankle Biter. I do like my 1/1 Death Touch creatures. That is good. Snakeskin Veil I think that's a pretty good combat trick. I do keep running into this. I would say one question you should ask: do you actually have really good creatures in your deck you want to protect, or are they all kind of expendable? What would be an example of a really good creature? Stingerback Terror. Yeah. So I think Snakeskin Veil is going to be good. Dance the Tumbleweeds is fantastic. Right, so this is our ramp. With our X spells, we definitely could use some ramp. I'll take both of these. It's going to cost you 3 mana to ramp out a land with this, and then 5 mana if you just want the creature, and 6 mana to do both. Right, Stubborn Burrow Fiend is a Badger Beast mount. Okay, it's a 2 mana 2/2 as well, so it's a Grizzly Bear. When it becomes saddled for the first time each turn, you mill 2 cards. Then the Burrow Fiend gets +X to determine X, the number of creature cards in your graveyard. I think we want to be a little bit careful with self-mill cards. Let's call this a filler card. Most of the time, this is just going to be a Grizzly Bear, so we'll come back to him. Creosote Saddle is a removal card. We are definitely interested in that. Beastbond Outcaster potentially, draws you a card if you've got big creature, so that's pretty good. I think this is, as long as we've got good options. I'll tell you what I've just spotted. We've got 2 Cactarantulas, which are pretty great. So I think we take Beastbond Outcaster as well. The Clear Shot, target creature you control gets +1/+1 till end of turn and deals damage to its power to target creature. Another good removal spell. Free Strider Commando. It's good. It's pretty boring. It's you know 3/3 for 3, or potentially if you plot it, play it turn 5. It's a 5/5. Uh, we don't have to play this card. I would say it's not got yeah, evasion, so we can that can be a filler card. Honestly, Reach for the Sky. Flash enchant creature gives you reach. When it goes to graveyard, you draw a card, so it does replace itself. So this, if we don't have enough reach creatures, enough ways to stop flyers, I think this could be a good sort of good filler card to have. We do have I think we've got quite a lot of access to removal. We might just rely on removal to uh, deal with flyers, but also this could give you a really good blocker that your opponent has to remove. So I'm in two minds about this card. I think, yeah, let's consider it. I don't think we have very many reach creatures. Let's do that. And Full Steam Ahead is like overrun. It's you have a lot of creatures. You can give them +2/+2 and trample. And of course, immediately I'm thinking about form a posse. We have quite as well as other things. We've got a few things that make creatures. We've got a potential go wide strategy that means Full Steam Ahead is potentially a finisher. I would say let's consider Full Steam Ahead for this deck. And we've got Creosote Heath, and of course Selvala Eager Trailblazer, which makes mercenaries. This is looking a bit like a Naya deck. A go wide Naya deck. There's definitely good reasons to play green white as well. We've had a look at the colourless things. So we've picked 75 cards out of the 40. It's usually not very many cards left. These are the kind of the filler cards. So let's make let's trim a few things. So first of all, one of our first deck ideas was black, blue, white with Ariette and auras. We don't have good enough auras, honestly. So we drop Ariette, which I think Ariette was the only reason for playing blue that was outstanding. I think we can drop all of the blue cards. I'll just have another look through. Don't think Outlaw Stitch, you can make a really big zombie, which is quite fun. Lazav is kind of fun as well, but maybe not as good as what we've got in other colours. And I think that means, oh yeah, we do have some good black and green. Vraska joins up. Good question is how many legendary creatures we have. However, it does not list it here under because it's not a creature type. It would be very handy to see that. But my gut feeling is Vraska joins up is not going to be strong enough, and that we can probably probably drop black completely. It's just 11 black cards. We'll do that and see what that looks like. Got a couple of buzzards there. Yeah, there's the black-white option was quite good. We've got Kambao and the Ruthless Lawbringer. But maybe it's not enough and not as impressive as red. So we can end up cutting all of those things. Ambush Gigapede. Okay. And finally, yeah, I did a couple of weeks ago, I played Naya Colors, Naya Ramp. And it seems to be the way to go this week as well. So we're down to 3 colors. We've got 54 cards. Probably we can just trim these irrelevant lands. So Lonely Ario, unless we really need the crime on this card, we could probably trim it. One less tap land. We'll look at our curve here. We don't have very many super expensive things, so we probably don't cut anything expensive. We do have 7 1-drops. That's a lot, but that's including maybe a couple of X spells, which are going to be more like 4 or 5 drops, really, ideally. So I usually follow the format of 2 1-drops, then 7 2-drops, 6 3-drops, and then it's like 4 4-drops, 3 5-drops, and a 6-drop, something like that. So we need to cut a lot of 1-drops. Let's say 5 1-drops, 2 2-drops, and 3 3-drops, and half 4-drops. So. And we've got to, I suppose, decide what type of deck are we playing. Do we want to go full steam ahead with token makers, or do we want ramp and big creatures? Because that's going wide or going tall is kind of a thing. Actually, I think you can't beat the Cactarantula, honestly. You draw a card if they try and kill it. It's got reach, so it's stopping the flyers. We don't, we've got kind of a weak spot um, against flyers. Um, a very simple thing to do is actually trimming the go wide strategy first, and then seeing what that looks like. Because Electrodominance to the face is easier than trying to kill people with creatures, I think. Honestly, I think we keep some things that are just too ridiculously good to ignore. So Selvala is fantastic. She happens to be making creatures, but she's just a very good value 4-drop. She also adds mana, which is crazy. So Ertha Joe doubles up on abilities that target creatures or players. So not mana abilities, but does double up on Jolene's ability. Maybe we might try playing Ertha Joe. Maybe we don't need Reach for the Sky. We're trying to drop about 4 of these 4-drops. Stingerback Terror is just amazing, so we're not dropping that. Potentially we the Radio Pyromancers, maybe we drop that. Maybe we drop a Quill Charger. Hellspur boss is a bit too good to drop. 4, 5. You end up with 5 4-drops. I think we just want to drop about 3 3-drops. So let's see if we can do that. We've got Ramp, we've got Jolene, which is good. Skewer the Critics is just good. Wolverine, Gila Courser, Vengeful Townsfolk, and Inventive Wingsmith. How much white are we really needing to play in the deck? Can we cut all of our cheap white cards? Yeah, I think figuring out which our 2 main colors is probably pretty important. So we could drop the white, even if they're pretty good. It's just going to help us get to 40 cards a lot easier. And then white is definitely looking like a splash color. Do we still want to play Ertha Joe? How good is Ertha Joe? It is a good combo with Jolene. Um, but if yeah, we might. So let's say we drop an Ertha Joe. How likely? Yeah, I think we've got a decent decent access to powerful creatures. And actually, yeah, we're down to 41 cards. I think we're not going to really look up. Yeah, the Bounding Felidar is pretty good, but that would be a very good white card to splash. Be bound to have white mana by the time you have 6 mana. Definitely the tricky part. Do we keep Ertha Joe, Jolene combo? So Jolene helps you make treasure tokens when you attack with big creatures. Yeah, that's pretty good. And we've got all of these other sort of filler cards, which also might be good. There are these fight cards. If, I feel like our creature count has probably gone quite low. Yeah, 12 creatures. You want to aim at about 17 creatures. A few of these things just make creatures, though. But I think actually let's drop Snakeskin Veil. Lost Cheat. I would like to play that, honestly. Uh, so there's this question: do we want, if we've got a low creature count, can we justify playing removal cards that rely on me having a creature? And perhaps the answer is no to that. We have to try and figure out a way of getting more creatures in the deck. So we're going to drop fight cards and such. So that takes us down to 38. But you can count that we've got 3 ramp cards. We've got a Silver Deputy to make a land drop. And we'll just see what the mana curve looks like now. 4, 5, 6, 402. Okay. So we're all about late game big creatures, and there's a couple of X spells as well. I'm just thinking early game, perhaps we just want to focus on making sure we hit our land drops, which would be an argument for the Discerning Peddler and the Highway Robbery. Definitely Discerning Peddler because it's another creature card. And it's sort of tempting to form a posse, but it's not an efficient card form a posse, that's the thing. The Freeze Strider Commando's right there, it does seem pretty good. Four one drops. What are the four one drops? It's yeah, Derailment is really a 3-drop. Not really a 1-drop. That's yeah, these two are both proper 1-drops. Caught in the Crossfire does make some sense. I think I would like a good 2-drop potentially here. Do we have not sure if we included very many mounts though in the deck. Not sure if I want throw from the saddle. Or we could just throw in Ertha, the other Ertha Joe. We try and get the combo with Jolene and say, yeah, we don't care about early game. We're going to accept we're going to lose the early game and just try and get um, a ridiculously good late game. All right. I think that's a first pass, a decent first pass. Lost Sheet is potentially something we consider dropping, I think, because our creature count is not very high. 14. You kind of want about 17 creatures. This is one of those sort of enhancers that it's an equipment. It's not removal. It's not a creature, but it enhances your creatures. So there's an argument you actually drop this just to put another creature in, which it seems so good, but I think potentially that's what you should do here. And you want maybe the 2-drop. It is the Stubborn Burrow Fiend, which I'm not sure I want to play, to be honest, but maybe we can get away with milling some cards. I don't know. Always get this sort of quite difficult situation. Right. We put in the Burrow Fiend. We'll see how that goes. I'll call that a first pass at a deck. I think let's see what we want to put on the front of the deck. Maybe that one. And I'll call that end of part one. I'll have a little think about this. I might make a few changes. We'll see what happens. Thanks for watching so far. Okay, and we're back. So I have indeed made quite a few changes. So it's you'll notice it's a lot more red, this deck, and I've decided I don't mind only having 12 creatures. One of the main things I've added, I thought let's try all 3 Highway Robberies and the Discerning Peddler. So I've got discard and draw, or discard and draw 2. The idea here is just get consistency at making land drops, because we're a big creature deck. We're an X-Spell deck. We want to make our land drops and sort of have a consistently get to sort of mid-game, late-game cards. So that's the idea. We're not going to have any early game really. I thought I've got a couple of double red cards here. I have double green in Cactarantula as well. In fact, 3 double red cards, including Electrodominance, and mostly red cards now. So I went up to 9 mountains. I've only got 5 green sources. So it might get hard to cast the Cactarantula, but I think because I'm going this direction where my fixing is in red, I need to be getting red sources consistently. I've actually dropped Ankle Biter because it's a 1 mana green creature, which I'm just not going to draw untapped green mana on turn 1 very often. I'm also not playing the sort of the fight or the punch cards here, which would go with the Death Toucher. So I decided it makes less sense to play that. We're going for late game. We'll see, and we'll see how that goes. Basically, what else? I have dropped the Wolverine, so this exiles something off the top. So you have to play it till end of turn, and we've got some key crucial cards like Electrodominance that I don't want to exile off the top. So it is card advantage, but this is not the deck for. I think they call it impulse draw, where you have to use the card that same turn. It's not very good in this deck. I still have Gila Courser, which does that if you saddle it, but at least I have control over that card. Also, this is good because it's power 4. Power 4 goes with a couple of our cards, Beastbond Outcaster and Jolene. So that stays in the deck. I think that, I just dropped the Ankle Biter. I replaced it with Prickly Pear, so another 3-drop. Gives you a couple of creatures, potentially a couple of jump blockers. So it's not too bad. And Mercenaries go well with Ertha Joe because the ability gets doubled up. So that's quite good. And mercenaries can only target your own creatures, so you can't use them to commit crimes. I was just thinking. Yeah. Anyway, and we are playing all these the special lands. So I think we'll give this a shot. We might just get run over in the early game. That could definitely happen. But we'll see. We'll see how it works. I've got that one board sweeper that does 2 damage to all outlaws or all non-outlaws, sort of as a sort of 1 mana spree. So that could be good if I draw that. Okay, so we have no green mana. We do have a Highway Robbery. We do have a Stingerback Terror. So I think we can get away with playing this because we've got the Highway Robbery. We'll just decide, do we want to play Arid Archway on 2? We've drawn another land. Or do we want a Highway Robbery on 2? Well, we can plot it, can't we? Just going to double check everything. There we go. Okay, we have Magda the Horde Master. That's terrifying. Okay, yeah. So every time you commit a crime, you make a treasure token, and you can get a dragon. Okay, so we don't actually have to play the Arid Archway yet. We can get our Stingerback Terror on turn 4. We can play our planes now. We could discard. This is sorcery speed. We might want to discard Dance of the Tumbleweeds, or possibly we could discard the Arid Archway. No, we'll Highway Robbery. Discard a card. Discard the green card we can't play. Cool. We get to Electrodominance. We can play a Bandit's Hall. Stingerback. Yeah, you can block the Stingerback, but we play a Bandit's Hall. So, red and black. There's the Cactarantula. We've only got one green. We get this. The hall gives us green, and it gets us loot counters whenever you commit crimes. We can tap all of these and play Ertha Joe. And then I think Arid Archway will return a mountain. Seems good. Just remind us what this does. Whenever you activate an ability that targets creature or player, copy that ability. So mercenaries are double strength. I mean, they're doing +2 power. I think we're getting killed here. Yeah, okay, that was a nasty spell. What did it do? 4 damage and 3 damage to my face. Okay. It was a choose to, I think, or escalate. Okay, no blocks, we'll take 2. Okay, this one is a Dwarf Berserker. We can actually caught in the crossfire just to kill Magda before she gets out of control. And we're facing, you know, a 4/4 dragon. That's one option. That costs us 3 mana. By the way, I could do an Electrodominance for 4 and cast Stingerback Terror, but we want to do that for 5 potentially and then cast the Cactarantula. That would be cool. So Magda, we do damage to non-outlaws, right? We'll attack with the mercenary. Non-outlaw, please. Pretty sure it's a non-outlaw because it's a Dwarf Berserker. Right. Yes, it worked. Thank God. And we can actually plot the Stingerback Terror. Why not? Okay, let's do that. Oh, he's got blue. He's got Gila the Hellraiser. What does Gila the Hellraiser do? Oh God, Wood 2, pay 2 life. Skeletons get +1/+1. Whenever you commit a crime, you make 2 zombies. Oh God, this thing. Okay, how much mana do I have? So we need 2 to cast Electrodominance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm 1 short, aren't I? I need to pay 2. How annoying. So he's just going to commit a crime and destroy me with this. The only possibility is if he blocks my mercenary. He'd be mad to block mercenary though, wouldn't he? Okay. Let me count that again. I can do basically, if I have to use that to pay ward, I can do 3 damage with Electrodominance. Okay. So we're going to play Jolene and a Stingerback Terror, I guess. She's a 5 creature, and then we'll end the turn. And if he commits a crime, he just gets an army. Does it happen? Yeah, can trigger once a turn. Would have been obviously fantastic to clear up all the zombies we caught in the crossfire, but we weren't to know that. That's a crime, so he gets his army. Damn. And they're 3/3, of course, so actually, yes, Caught the Crossfire would not work because Giza is actually helping those guys. There's Lost Sheet. Ah, I didn't. I took this out of my deck. I've got to. Yeah, I wonder if we should be using that because the crucial thing here, you can actually untap a land. So, effect this thing is like a ramp card. I should probably be using it. So, untap land and we can kill Giza. There we go, untap land. Okie doke, we'll just. We've got to do this very carefully, so it should be 4 plus 4. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh boy. Let's figure it out. Yeah, let's. Oh, guess what? I can't cast my Cactarantula. Um, but I can if I attack with Jolene. And let's actually tap that. Power up Jolene. And attack. We get a treasure. It's an untapped treasure token as well. So we want to do 5 damage with Electrodominance so we can play the Cactarantula. Right. Or, no, it doesn't work, does it? We need to do 6 because the actual casting cost is 6. Oh my god. It's a simple game, Magic. Right. Electrodominance for 5. We will do 5. Or do we want to keep the... No, we'll do 4. We're pretty sure we know how it works. And... X equals 4. Right. Yeah. Plus 2. Resolve. Also pay 2. Can't play the Cactarantula, we'll have to take that on the chin. So killed 2 rares so far. Oh, so he's had 3. He had Collective Defiance as well. And we have rare number 4. Love it. Breaches the Blast Maker. And is Jolene dead? Huh? Okay, he gets to cast Consuming Ashes twice. Of course he does. Why not? What happened? So whenever you cast a single spell, you may sacrifice an artifact. If you do flip a coin, when you win the flip, he won the flip. Of course he did. You can choose new targets from the copy. When you lose the flip, reaches the deals damage equal to that spell's motivated to any target. Right. Did he? Don't understand. He cast a second Consuming Ashes. Okay, everything makes sense now. Okay. So we're just stuffed. He managed to draw 5 rares. Lost Jeet is a mythic. Yeah, that's magic for you. That's probably this, so we don't have to use our treasure, right? We can surveil and get rid of potentially dance the tumbleweeds. It gives us a big creature. Is it enough to help us survive the next turn? I think having a creature is going to be quite good. Yes, maybe that's good. Yes, done. Will he attack? What does Lost Sheet do? Oh, it stops me from blocking. Of course it does. And he's got Consuming Ashes, number 3, off the top of the deck. Of course he does. He's cast it 4 times. He managed to copy it once. It's a sealed deck, folks. Four, is it 5 rares and 3 consuming ashes? All right, all right. Finished 2 quests. Wonderful. Well, that's good. We're still on course to get Fiddlefip. I think I've already got that avatar though. All right, on to game 2. We'll see if they draw. Was it 5 rares and was it 3 consuming ashes? And hitting perfect land for everything. So we have all mountains. We've got our Highway Robbery. So yeah, we keep that. Highway Robbery, a Highway Robbery. We maybe just get rid of Dance the Tumbleweeds. I think we want to just cast this so we can maybe play Jolene next turn. Or no, we can plot it. We can we can definitely plot it. We can always cast it next turn. It's the same deal. We might top deck a forest. It might change where our decision is. He's got his 3 colours there, very nice, and he's got a tapper here. Target non-mount creature. Okay. Well, that is interesting. We did hit a Silver Deputy. I think we pop a forest on top. Yeah, forest, please, I think. And we don't use Highway Robbery just yet. We could have, yeah, we could have played Silver Deputy, not played a land, played Highway Robbery, played forest, by the way. But I don't think it makes too much difference. So what are we looking at with this? So for 3 mana we could grab the plains, but we probably want to be ambitious and aim for 6 mana. If we can keep drawing land. Which we should be able to do with Highway Robberies. Okay, so we're thinking Jolene. We attack first. Let's play Jolene first. He's got a flash card, so he kills my Silver Deputy. Alright. I think we should be thinking about that. There's quite a few flash creatures. It did seem a bit too bit suspicious, I suppose, if I thought about it. We missed a 3-drop. Okay, guess we don't block those. Gets his for 2 rare. So this guy's not needing as many rares as the previous guy to be winning. Oh god. 4-2 and a 4-4. Not bad. Our derailment is 4 damage for 3 mana. We can Tumbleweeds to make a 5/5. We lose the chance to get another land into play. We could Highway Robbery to discard a Highway Robbery, potentially, and see get more options. Right, that thing draws cards, so that's bad news for us, I think. How about we potentially kill the Outcast Trailblazer, because he's just going to draw lots of cards with it and win. Okay, little Highway Robbery, discard a Highway Robbery. Do some land. Okay, that's fine. We've got a 6-point Dance the Tumbleweeds. Next turn we could do. We're probably just on the back foot here. If I do draw my sweeper, I could kill that. Okay, yeah, let's do this. Let's do that. Kill the Trailblazer to stop him drawing cards. We just use Jolene on defense, I think. So we are hitting our land drops, but it's just not doing us that much good at the moment. We are just losing to aggro, I would say, quite clearly. He's probably got a combat trick here, but we feel forced into making blocks here because we're going a bit too low on life. On the plus side, we have hit our colours. Okay, that's kind of 6/6. Wonderful. And draw 2 more cards. So he's got, yeah, a pretty serious card there. Oh boy. Well, there's Plains. We've got 6 mana. We can't do sort of both of these creatures. We might be able to match that elemental. Let's see what we can do. We can go bang, bang, bang. And put something into play. Maybe Creosote Heath would be good. Let's see if he's got another removal or a combat trick for this guy. He just wins if he does. So, what did we do this game? Yeah, we lost the Silver Deputy to a flash creature. So that was a mistake. We had the 2 highway robberies. We blew up one of his card advantage creatures. Jolene died to a combat trick thing. What did we take out? Yeah, we took out Trailblazer. That's it. So he's got his own Dance of the Tumbleweeds. He's using it to put a... Oh, that's what I forgot about. Yeah, he can use that. Damn. Okay. Right, yeah, he can tap a non-mount creature. So all of his cards have been very effective this game. They've all done something quite powerful. We draw a highway robbery. We can discard a card. failed to pay. It's 2 damage, it's a sorcery. We can kill his flyer, we can kill his tapper. But we're on 1 life point. That's a bit of an issue. If we do nothing, we die. If we kill the flyer, he taps that, and I have to just chomp block there. If we kill the tapper, he just flies in and wins. So that's obviously bad. Obviously worse. So kill the flyer. No attacks, 7 damage isn't going to do much here. Well, I had high hopes for this deck. I thought maybe I'd hit upon something. I thought, yeah, 3 highway robberies. Will be incredibly consistent, hit our land drops, and just dominate the late game. But when your opponents can dominate the early game and the late game, seemingly, you just lose. So, yeah, I think there's too many flexible cards that are good early game and late game. Well, maybe they kind of do something okay early game, but they're really good late game. So you maybe just can't get away without an early game. I think I don't want to just do an emergency change of the deck. I'm going to stick to my guns here. And see if just give it another shot. I think the first game was really quite stupid. Yeah, five rares, 3 removal cards. That was insane. But yeah, the second game, that's just a much more normal kind of game. I made a mistake. I don't know my flash creatures well enough, or I don't anticipate them well enough. I lost a 1/2 creature. It made practically no difference, I think, to the outcome of the game. I think we definitely keep this one. This is actually a very good hand. We can Silver Deputy to get our planes, and then we've got all the colours we need. We've actually been really lucky. We've gone first every game. It's not done us any good. We want an untapped source, definitely. Oh, we can get a mount or a planes. He's got a planes for that one. Nice. That's a kind of probably a better version of Silver Deputy. So the thing here with Beastbond Outcaster. We want to plot this card definitely, and play. We can make a 4 power creature next turn and draw this extra card. No attacks. Enter. Right. Oh, he's using this card. Nice. So give it menace, and we can get through for 2 damage. So I decided not to use this because it's not a creature and it's not a removal spell. I could do a 2-point Electrodominance on there and play a Discerning Peddler if I want. But don't think that's going to be good. Wait, 4/1. It's not got first strike or anything. Just trade off. I will take that trade every day. So, I think the way this works, I play the Hellspur, Posse boss. And I'd rather have a card than 2 extra damage on my opponent, so I'm going to pump up the Hellspur to 4 power. Then play the Outcaster. And draw a card. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Wanted Griffin. Ooh. Not giving it Menace and Haste. Now, do I want to discard land? I'm thinking it's going to be a 2-point Electrodominance. I play the Peddler. I feel like I should discard that, but yeah, having an extra land is just quite good. Maybe I drop the Prickly Pear. Maybe that's not that good. Yeah, 2-point Electrodominance seems fine in this instance. And I will cast you. When he dies, he does that. I think I want the land, and I'm discarding the Prickly Pear. I drew a land anyway. Okay. Oh yeah, you've got haste. That's cool. So it's just one of those games where I've drawn all my creatures. I've only got 12 creatures. Well, 12 creature spells in the deck, and a couple of things that make creatures. Sorceries that make creatures. So. Oh, we're off the mark. We need 4 more wins to get in the money. I think it's very unlikely. Okay, this looks like a good hand. Three land. Got Bandit's Hall. We're just a bit slow. Opponent goes first, so that could be an issue. We will draw an extra card though, so maybe that will be good. That's a good. Another. We've drawn all of our 4 drops, but that is a good sort of defensive, chunky defensive 4/5. And we can plot you. That's pretty good. Definitely want to go for that extra card if we can. I don't want to just play it early to just try and get in for 3 damage. I don't think that's going to do much. Rise of the Varmints. Oh my god. X2/1. X the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Well, that's not the easiest thing to pull off, is it? I'm going to play the Bandit's Hall. And go next, and end the turn. Giant Beaver. Okay. Right, we want... So Dance the Tumbleweeds. We want 6 mana, ideally for that thing. The player Stingerback Terror is only a 3/3, but if I play Beastbond Out, okay, yeah, so it's still only a 3/3. Okay. Creature spell gives me. Yeah. Okay, I think. Or we could just kill a giant beaver. Yeah. Okay, let's play Selvala. Because that's the thing that actually makes mana. Beastbond Outcaster, yes, that's going to draw me a card. So that's definitely what we want to do. And we get a 1/1. Nice. Okay, there we go. That makes sense. Selvala, by the way, can currently make 3 mana. Mystical Tether, so something dies. Selvala goes. It makes sense if you think about it. Let's double block. Let's test the theory that he's got a combat trick. I think that's a fine trade. We've only got 5 mana. The Terror's not going to be a very good card. We could Tumbleweed for a land. We don't really want to do that. Yeah, it's Hellspur Posse boss, I think. Oh, counter spell or something. He's got an instant. Attack for 2. Oh, it is a big creature. Very big creature. Of course, it's got Ward. Ward 3 of all things. That is a very big hell to pay I would have to do. A lot of mana that would cost, rather. That's absolutely insane. Okay. Oh well. We're going to play. Should we play a Stingerback Terror or a Jolene? I feel it's time for a Jolene. This thing's got reach as well. Yeah. Okay. We Arid Archway and bounce a forest back, I think. So yeah, it looks like we're gonna be jump blocking this thing. So for hell to pay, 8 mana base plus 3 ward. So we need 11 mana to blow this up with hell to pay, which is insane. We've only got 5, 6. We'll have 7 mana next turn. Get to 8 mana with Dance of the Tumbleweeds. We could take a massive risk and block with 3 things. We could take a smaller risk and block with 1 mercenary and not take 7 damage. Or we could just let 7 damage through. Let's chump block. 2 cards left, lots of mana, 7 mana. Rise of the Varmint is ready to sort of go. Oh, that's another huge creature. Okay, yeah. And that's both his things played. Okay. So he's got a 7/7. I can get a 6/6 Dance the Tumbleweeds. Yeah, just counting my mana again. That's a 6 damage hell to pay I could do, or a 5 damage Electrodominance. It's all getting quite interesting. If Jolene were to attack, yeah, she'd get blocked by an Omen Port Vigilante, I think. That's the trouble. I'm feeling a Dance of the Tumbleweeds here. Yeah, get the last tap land out, I think. Unless I'm missing something. And next, and no point attacking, and end the turn. So counter mana 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. We might be able to kill his 7/7. Oh god, one of his 7/7s. Okay, he is just not caring that he's emptied his hand. This is a great chance to block. He doesn't have a combat trick waiting in the wings. Use the 6/6 and a 1/1 to kill that. We can't kill the 7/7. So we let it through. Hopefully I've not forgotten something, but let's see. He's gradually building up his army of squirrels for later on. He's got two squirrels. Okay. Let's count again. 5, 6, 7. Unfortunately, it's exactly the right amount of damage to kill a 7/7. But maybe that's not really what we need. Yeah, it's 8 mana I've got, so potentially got plot a Stingerback Terror, play a Cactarantula. Which might not be that good. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to, yeah, whatever happens, I think a 7/7 is getting through. I'm just gonna hell to pay. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a 7/7. Oh yeah, that is a card. I'm going to have to let a 7/7 through, and possibly a couple of 2/2s, and that would be 11 damage. So Jolene probably has to sacrifice herself here. Try and kill Omenport Vigilante, trade off for a varmint, because I don't think we can leave ourselves on 1 life, realistically. Another one, okay. Prickly Pear, yes, quite happy to see that. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It was still 8 mana, so I think Cactarantula is a good move. And a Prickly Pear is a good move as well. And we could attack, but we're on 3 life, so I'm not going to attack. Okay, 1 card in hand. How bad could it be? Well, tell you what. We just block with everything. Safety. The idea is safety first. We get embarrassed if he specifically has Death Touch, instant Death Touch. Okie doke. Right. Can we attack? I'm going to play a Stingerback Terror. Put me on. Be a 5/5. We could attack that, or we could draw a card with that. Yeah, I don't think we want to attack particularly. No attacks, and turn. Outlaw Medic is attacking. Do we want to risk a Stingerback Terror, or do we just lose a Mercenary? Oh, I'll tell you what, he's got a lifelink. We'll chuck a Hellspur Posse boss in front of it, and so we won't kill it. We don't want to give him a card, particularly. I'm going to draw a card from this. Okie doke. How much damage to face can we do? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can do 8 damage to face, which is pretty good. We can plot a Highway Robbery. Is Explosive Derailment an instant? It is. That's not an artifact. Okay. Yeah, plot a Highway Robbery. That will go to 5/5. And we will attack for 5. End the turn. So, he's got a big green haster with lots of trample. We're going to make him with trample and stuff. We could be in trouble. Just block like that. You've got something. Oh, very nice. Lifelink indestructible till end of turn. So it gets. He's sort of tempting me into doing an explosive derailment, but then I kill it and he draws a card. I think I just win next turn, honestly, because that's 2/3. It's up to 15. Take out his blocker. Okay, my turn. Let's see what we get. Oh, it's a Cactarantula. It's not quite what we wanted to see. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8-point Electrodominance, and we play this Cactarantula. And we should be killing him. Don't do that, don't do that. 5, 6, 7, 8. Bang. This is what it's all about. Yes, please, play that. And attack with everything. Wow, that was a close one. Yeah, big creatures all over the place. I haven't seen that 7/7 Ward 3 reach monstrosity before. Somehow we managed to kill it. Okay, we got to 2 wins. It's not bad. It is a 2-lander, but with a silver deputy. I think we keep that silver deputy, and we can do just a Dance of the Tumbleweeds for a land on turn 3 as well. Get to 4 land if we want. There is this question: should we try and find double red, or should we find white? I think we find the white mana, and the Tumbleweeds can find double red. That's the good point. That's the point. And we probably want 3 mana next turn, so we can go for the plains. Mines and forest. I think we're going to face some more big creatures. We know what it means when he doesn't do anything. When he's got 3 mana, he's probably got the cow, which our Silver Deputy will run into and die. Do we want to be slightly greedy? Go for a turn 6 Dance the Tumbleweeds. The other thing is we can get an early Cactarantula if we... Yeah. Well, we've got other things to do here, so I think we... Let's tell you what, let's go for a Prickly Pear. We've got an aggro rollout, I think. He's going to play his Flying Cow. He will not attack. There it is. Prosperity Tycoon. Yeah, makes a mercenary. He can sacrifice. Okay, he's got this as well. Draws a card. Okay, it's a whole thing. Sacrifice a token. It gets indestructible turn. Okay. We can actually play. Tell you what, no, this is the time to play a Gila Courser. The only thing is we have to bounce. I'll tell you what, we just bounce a planes, don't we? We don't need the white mana particularly. Do we want to attack? No, we definitely don't want to attack. We're just going to play some creatures. Arid Archway, bounce the planes. Mercenary the cow and push that through for 3 damage. I like how we still get half an hour for one game. Okay, let's see if he's got something that pumps everything's toughness. That would be bad, but we'll do that sort of trade, and we might get messed up. But we've got to take the risk. Oh yeah, you can sacrifice that to be indestructible. I totally forgot that was a thing. I did look at it, I just forgot. Never mind. Right, we have hell to pay. We can potentially... Oh, I just played the planes without thinking about what I was doing. I needed double green for the Cactarantula. We can do hell to pay on the Holy Cow. And get 2 treasures. And that might be the best option now. I guess double. Well, do we want to double block the Tycoon? Yeah. So when you prime, it gets double strike, so that's pretty bad news. Right, remember to play a forest, I think, next turn. Oh, 3rd colour. So he's playing black as well. Sterling supplies. This gets pumped to 5-3. Okay, yeah, can't do much about that. That's another flyer. Remember, we want double green here. We've now got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. I think we just want to play Cactarantula. You know what? Next turn we're actually going to have 9 mana, and we can play this, and get an extra mercenary. So I think we do a full dance of the Tumbleweeds this turn. We'll get hit by the flyer, but that's fine. And we just keep an eye on his tokens. Does he have any tokens to sacrifice to this? Buried in the garden just removes my creature. And that's really bad news. So that's 9. That's 12 damage coming in. So block. Then that's potentially 7. Oh dear. I think it's a block. We just have to block both. One card left. I wonder if he's got another removal spell. Two cards left. 7 mana. So yeah, he just needed one removal spell, really, didn't he? And he just had sort of a steady rollout of creatures, and yeah, one card draw creature. Pretty basic stuff. We don't want to block with Cactarantula. He could make a token at instant speed and then make this indestructible, but also we can't really afford to take 5 damage, so we just got to block, I think, like that. Or, well, we know we're not getting another creature, yeah, let's try and trade off. Yeah, okie doke. It was a land. And another huge creature, okay. Just gonna out-size me considerably. And I draw another land. Okie doke. This lets me surveil for 1. That was maybe would have been good last turn to get rid of that excess land. Get rid of that one, so that's something. No attacks end turn. Yeah, the weird thing about the time, you get the same time limit in best of 1 as you do in best of 3. You get half an hour on the clock, which seems a bit silly, but there you go. He might have a way of giving this trample. If he does, he wins, because I'm not going to chump block. Let's look at the Cactarantula. I'm going to draw another mountain. Now I will have to chump block, so it was 3 lands in a row on top of the deck at the crucial phase of the game, but never mind. Block that one, and if I get crimed, I die. Okay, we drew the Bandit's Hall, so it's basically 3 land and a ramp card on top, unfortunately for me. Okay. Game the game. A lot of mana. So we finish on 2-3 after that. Bit of an experiment. I thought let's try not really doing an early game and just doing go for making sure we get our lands in the early game. But it probably left us a step behind my opponent, who every opponent had, a standard aggressive rollout